Have you ever thought about aliens when you thought about 9/11? Well, believe it or not, there are some conspiracies that say they swear they saw aliens crash flying saucers into the Twin Towers. Where did the aliens go afterwards? They transported into another galaxy before any evidence was seen. On a serious note, in the words of Senator John McCain, on September 11th, evil literally took flight. This seems like a good depiction of the event. However, 1 in 7 Americans still think 9/11 was a staged act. Conspiracies vary from crazy and out of this world to plausible and logical. I'm not going to talk about the crazy conspiracies. I'm going to talk about the conspiracies that still hold weight today. My goal today is to tell about the conspiracies and disprove them about the collapse of the Twin Towers and World Trade Center 7, the plane that hit the Pentagon, and Flight 93. The first thing I'm going to start off with is the actual collapse of the Twin Towers and World Trade Center 7. The South Tower collapsed at 9:59 a.m., then the North at 10:28 a.m., then followed much later by World Trade Center 7 at 5:20 p.m. The main theory about this is that they seem to have fallen in a controlled demolition-like fashion. This is furthered when World Trade Center 7 was fallen so much later and it didn't even have a plane hit it. Theorists believe that that means that there was a bomb placed intentionally by none less than the U.S. government. One reason people believe this is because of the straight-down collapse of the buildings. This is easiest to disprove because in a controlled demolition, little flashes take place all over the building before it falls. This didn't happen in the World Trade Centers, and the explosions come first in a controlled demolition. When in the World Trade Centers, it didn't happen until after the collapse had started. Therefore, as a result of the floors falling upon each other. Also, the World Trade Center 7 collapse being planned is very ridiculous because the evacuations had already happened for the World Trade Centers way that morning. So who would the bombing be hurting? No one. Now I'm going to shift my focus from the collapse of the towers to the plane that hit the Pentagon, or theorists believe it was a missile. A major reason they believe that it was a missile is because of the small impact hole that the plane created upon impact, and the seemingly no wing imprints in the building. How does, they ask, a 125-foot wide and 155-foot long plane fit into a 75-foot entry hole and leave a 16-foot hole in Ring C of the Pentagon? Well, this small antenna-like hole does show that people could question the true identity of the object that hit the Pentagon. But, first of all, according to Popular Mechanics magazine, ASCE team member Mette Sozen, a professor of structural engineering at Purdue University, states that a crashing jet doesn't punch a cartoon-like outline of itself into a reinforced concrete building. So this shows that one wing hit the ground before the impact with the building, and that the other wing was seared off by the impact of the building because of the load-bearing columns of the Pentagon. Therefore, the hole in relation to the plane is plenty accurate, because after further examination, that's how big the plane would be without the wings. Also, while viewing the crash site, they saw that the 16-foot hole was actually a 12-foot hole, and that's the proportions of the landing gear that fell off of the plane. Theorists didn't think through the crash site before coming up with their theories. Moving on from the Pentagon, I'm going to go from the third plane to the fourth plane, which is Flight 93. According to David Dunbar and Brad Reagan, the authors of Debunking 9/11 Myths, Why Conspiracy Theories Can't Stand Up to the Facts, retired Professor A.K. Dudney, Professor of Computer Science at the University of Waterloo in Ontario, he came up with a theory about Flight 93. This theory is called Operation Pearl. He says that U.S. officials ordered the first 3 planes to land at Harrisburg International Airport in Pennsylvania and all be loaded on to Flight 93. Flight 93 was then taken off and shot down over Shanksville, Pennsylvania to get rid of all the witnesses. He believed that Flight 93 was big enough to accommodate all the passengers. However, Boeing came out with a statement that said that this plane could only fit 200 people, and there were 232 people on all 4 doomed jets, not including the 33 crew members that were on there as well. So this theory cannot be true based on pure occupancy of the plane. This theory is also easy to disprove because there are log calls made from Flight 93. These log calls show the people that are in real distress really trying to take down a hijacker. Theorists try to say that these people could be actors, but it's highly unlikely, and they should earn some Academy Awards if it were. Throughout this speech, I have told you about the Twin Towers and World Trade Center 7, the plane that hit the Pentagon, and the mystery of Flight 93. Whenever unimaginable things happen, people try to come up with their own conclusions instead of looking at the definite facts. Psychologists will tell you that even sane people will accept crazy, wild conspiracy theories when they feel powerless and alone. This is the reason conspiracy theories are so popular, especially within ages 16 to 24, where 1 in 4 of them still believe that 9/11 was a staged act. Even though people still don't fully believe that 9/11 was an actual terrorist attack, it has still affected their lives in many ways. Like Senator John McCain states, no American living today will forget what happened on September 11, 2001.